Welcome to the Halliwell Manor. I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And we're here to discuss Season 7, Episode 12.
Extreme Makeover, World Edition. I really love that title.
Yeah. Why isn't it Part 1 and Part 2, though?
No idea. Well, okay, not only do I have no idea, but sometimes I look at what the title was in other countries, and no other country used Extreme Makeover joke because that's a weirdly dated reference. I mean, dated now, obviously, it wasn't dated then, but it's a very weird reference. Anyway, most other countries either came up with their own title or called it Charmageddon Part 1.
Yeah, because the next episode is Charmageddon. Which
Yep.
I really feel like you should have gone Part 1, Part 2, either with Charmageddon or Extreme Makeover World Edition, which... groan-worthy title, but come on. We're 7 seasons in. We know what the deal is at this point.
Okay, so I have to say, I kind of love this episode. And the next one.
Huh. Okay, I appreciate what they were trying to do, but there's a lot of stuff. Why were the avatars gathering so much power if their plan was basically just, let's have the charmed ones kill all the demons?
Okay, because that makes sense. Okay, so first of all, the avatars had to gather all of that power because they had to put every single person on Earth to sleep without anyone dying in a plane crash or a car accident.
We'll get into that when it comes up.
But also, I kind of love that the charmed ones were looking for this easy out where they just wake up in a world with no demons. But it turns out the only way to wake up in a world with no demons is to get off your ass and go out and kill all the demons, which they, have not been doing up to this point. But also... right, so for me, that's a feature, not a bug. I wrote in my notes, look, the avatars are getting them to kill all the demons. What a scam.
This also This also feels like a weird thing. Like, the Charmed Ones are, I don't want to say being proactive, but they're going after demons that haven't instigated anything, which just feels kind of like they're going around murdering people for no good reason.
Right? Yeah, no, it does kind of feel like, the difference between Buffy and Angel, where in Buffy, the demons and the vampires, like, you kill them just because they're demons or vampires. But then we get to Angel, and it's a more adult show, so it's more nuanced, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, this demon's just running a karaoke bar. Leave him alone. You monster. You demon racist.
Yes, and I know it's part of the whole gimmick of Charmed. Demons always bad, but
they're not. We just had Kira, and she was great, and her death is a tragedy.
Yeah, like, it's such a weird thing to do after the Kira episode. Like, I'm sure there are a bunch of demons who are just hanging around doing the low-level evil stuff you have to do to survive to be a demon.
Like, I mean, Phoebe's more evil than Kira. Get rid of Phoebe. Bring Kira on board. Let Kira be a charmed one.
So... but, yeah, I appreciate that this episode is trying to do something big. Also, really weird to have a two-parter in the middle of a season. Like,
not only weird, but up until now, unprecedented. I really wonder if they decided that the Avatar stuff wasn't working and they wanted to finish it, or if this was a plan, or if there was a writer's... I could have looked up if there was a writer's strike at this time period, but I didn't. But yeah, what happened that they decided the season had to be cut into 2 pieces, essentially?
I mean, maybe they just liked Zanku, and they were like, you know what, let's make this guy the main villain. Let's wrap up the Avatar stuff and just,
But I think the Avatar stuff is some of the strongest stuff Charmed ever did. I know it's so funny we've been trashing it before this, but now that I've watched it all, I'm like, wait, no, this stuff was pretty good. And it might be because they didn't let it go on too long.
So we open with Paige on it. She's making vanquishing potions because she's at the tail end of a demon-killing spree when Agent Brody comes in, and he's like, hey, I know last episode I had the whole going back in time, finding out the Avatars didn't kill my parents adventure, but I still don't super trust the Avatars, and are you sure that from, like, a free will perspective, like, creating this paradise is going to be a good thing?
I appreciate Brody's, like, kind of big picture-ness here, where he's like, yeah, they didn't kill my parents, but what I've learned from my research is that for thousands of years, every magical entity has been trying to keep them from coming into power, so maybe we shouldn't all jump on board right away.
Yeah, he's like, good and evil have both been trying to keep the avatars at bay. And I'm like, well, you haven't spent much time with the elders, so maybe, you know.
Maybe if the elders and demons agree on something, that's something you should oppose. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I guess demons and elders agreeing was kind of what happened with Gideon, wasn't it?
So... Paige is like, hey, pump the brakes. I know you've been studying avatars your whole life or whatever, but I've been a witch for like 3 years. So clearly I know the situation better than you. Shut up. Which, 4 years, right? I guess?
5, because we're on season 7, and she came... Oh, no, she came at the beginning of season 4, so... And we're halfway through season 7.
She's been a witch longer than Prue was a witch now.
Wow!
Yeah. Also, been a while since we've had a Prue reference.
You just referenced Prue. That's the show didn't reference Prue.
Yes. Next episode there will be a Prue reference, but yeah, it's been a really long time since we've had a Prue reference. And I guess it's because Paige has become good enough at witchcraft, so she doesn't feel like she's constantly falling short of Prue anymore.
And the show is far enough away from Prue that they're cool with just pretending that it was always these 3 women.
Yeah. That's going to have some awkward moments in the series finale.
So Paige kisses Brody condescendingly after she dismisses him. And then she does this thing where she, like, just this bit of business where she leans in and wipes the lip gloss that she got on him off of his lips. And it's this very deliberate, very intimate action. And I really, really love it. Like, I feel like it puts me right in their relationship. And... just saying, good job directing, whoever directed this episode.
Ooh, that sounds like someone directed this episode. Is this one of those things where it was like Shannon Doherty doing a really good job directing the episode where she died?
Not exactly that, but I might mention it later unless you notice it on the screen and it's spoiled for you, which very well might happen.
So, Paige orbs out to vanquish the last demon on her list for today. And Brody goes over to the Book of Shadows, flips through it until he hits the Elder page, and then tries sending the Elders a message that he still has an Avatar Vanquishing Potion.
I think it's interesting that he basically tried to contact the Elders via prayer. Like, what he's doing looks a lot like praying.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. The Elders are really bad at getting messages.
I know! Kira's message to the Elders got intercepted by the Avatars, and now this message gets intercepted by Zanku.
Yeah, Zanku jupes Brody down to hell, and Brody's like...
In a special effect that looks a little expensive, especially considering how cheap the sleep spell is gonna look.
Yeah. Brody, having been juped down into a cave surrounded by fire... sees a be-eyelinered man in black leather, and he's like, "Are you an elder?" Jesus Christ,
and
Brody.
Zanku's like, "Oh, baby. Oh, sweetie, honey, angel, no."
I guess they don't teach context clues in FBI training. But Zanku's like, no. But I do also really fucking hate the elders, so let's have a little team-up, shall we? Little boys trip. Little boy zone.
Oh, that's where we go to credits. And when we come back, we have like a super, super long tracking shot of San Francisco. Like a tracking shot that goes on so long that I felt compelled to write down in my notes. Maybe if you didn't have such a long tracking shot, we could have done this all in one part.
Yeah, and we have definitely some new stock footage. You can really tell that there's a difference in video quality between the older stock footage and the new stock footage they just got.
Yeah.
Which is a little jarring. Maybe don't have new right next to old, but...
Also, they're doing it as... they're doing a lot of it as tracking shots instead of, like, really quick blip verts like they used to do. I think we're supposed to be, like, watching the world that's about to disappear, like take it in and be like, oh, this is what's at stake.
So, after the 10,000 hours of opening credits, we go back to Hell, where Zanku is telling Brody, look, the avatars are not a good thing for us and for, the world at large, because good and evil have to exist in perfect balance. There can be no good without evil. There was a whole two-parter about it last season. I know you weren't around for that, but if they get rid of all of the blatant demons killing people evil, then it's just going to lay the groundwork for fascism, which was, for some reason, the point of the last season. Okay. But, so you need to work with us to, stop the Avatar's plan from going together. I like how Zenku's got a little personal assistant demon who's been mouthing off to him because they've lost so many demons in this latest Charmed One purge that that minions can get mouthy to their bosses without having to worry about getting blown up.
Right? Remember, your boss needs you. You don't need your boss. Zenku says to him, remind me why I keep you around. And he says, because you don't have many other minions left. Although, Zenku sacrifices 2 of his henchmen this episode for various, strategic reasons. And I don't...
It could have been that guy.
Yeah. Well... Yeah, we'll get to it, but that guy's actively like, wait, does it have to be me who's sacrificed? And Zenku's like, no, you're growing on me. We'll sacrifice someone else.
Zenku tells Agent Brody that the sisters are the Avatar's weak point. And Brody's like, I'm not going to help you hurt the sisters. And Zenku's like, it's not my plan to hurt the sisters. And Brody's like, seriously?
Well, and then the minion guy's like, well, not now. Right now we're fighting the Avatars. We will deal with our fight with the sisters after the Avatars are dealt with. Priorities, man. And then Zenku does this weird intimidation thing that I really like, where he gets right up in Brody's face and then teleports,
flames out, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we have a phrase for when they teleport via fire?
I think it's flaming out. The Charmed Wiki has, thousands of different powers listed that are just different kinds of teleportation. There's glimmering, there's shimmering, there's orbing, there's dark orbing.
Well, anyway,
there's glistening. That's a teleportation.
Anyway, he gets right up in his face and then teleports out via fire, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah. It's a little unclear. I mean, I guess because he needs the Avatar thing. Never mind. I was like, why doesn't he just shapeshift into Brody to do the whole paranoia thing he's going to infect the Charmed Ones with?
Yeah, he needs the vanquishing potion. Yeah.
The paranoia thing doesn't seem especially necessary. He could have just pulled a spike in the Yoko factor.
Yeah.
It is not hard to get the Charmed Ones not to trust someone. I mean, Paige, even right now, she's being a little doubting Thomas when we cut to her having a conversation with the Avatars where she's like, my boyfriend doesn't super trust you. And they're like, your boyfriend is stupid. Shut up.
Okay, so she wants to know, what is this spell that you're going to have us do that's going to change the world? And they're like, oh, it's very simple. Everyone's going to go to sleep. It's going to put them back to factory settings, and then they're going to wake up, and everyone's going to be happy. She's like, wait, you never told us that there was going to be sleep involved. And it's like, Paige, of all the things it could be, that's so minor.
Yeah, it's a weird point of contention. Also, apparently, if you set people back to factory settings, then they don't have malice in their heart anymore.
Okay, so they don't say it out loud, but I think it's supposed to be like we go back to Garden of Eden levels of conflict.
It just instantly erases all of your trauma, which is actually kind of how it plays out. It turns out that if everyone had a neutral childhood, people would be a lot more chill about shit.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that when I was watching this episode, what it is that the Avatars are doing, because, yeah, they're not feeling the trauma. And again, this is a shortcut, right? Because the real way to have this world where everyone's happy and everything is to remove the trauma. The guy, when we see him get his car hit and he's like, it's fine, you've got insurance, we'll take care of it. Yeah, if he's not worried that he's going to miss work and then miss a rent payment because his car just got hit, then yeah, he can be calm about it. Remove... That's the way to reach this world, Avatar. I guess
not to get all lefty on our podcast.
I am all about getting all lefty on our podcast. Anyway,
I mean, I feel like our politics have been pretty obvious.
I would feel like I had failed somehow if people just having random conversations with me did not know my politics. Okay, so I do have to talk about whether or not they have to vanquish Zanku.
Okay.
Because in this scene, the avatars are like, we can't do it if you don't vanquish Zanku. He's so much chaos and...
He's bad news bears.
Yeah, so he would ruin the whole world if we didn't vanquish him first.
Which, to be fair, yeah, kind of.
Okay, yeah, but put a pin in that.
Okay.
Put a pin in that, and then we'll move on to what happens next.
So, the Piper and Phoebe show up, and Leo, who's wearing his snazzy Avatar outfit for the first time. You know what? I would take being an Avatar over an Elder,
Just for the costume?
Just for the outfit. Like, granted, you have to share your power with the collective or whatever, but, like, at least you're a snappy dresser.
Okay.
Also, I feel like it should kind of go the opposite way, where if part of the collective dies, everyone else gets stronger. If the power is being shared with the collective and not weaker.
No, because it's not some ephemeral power out there like the Charmed One's powers. They're sharing each other's powers. They are stronger together. So when someone dies, it's not that whatever power they had goes into the collective, whatever power they had dies with them and is no longer shared amongst everyone.
I just feel like the way power stuff usually works in Charmed.
Yeah, but you see, the avatars are communists. Like, the more we talk about this, the more I'm like, okay, I see what the avatars are doing here. I see what's going on here.
So Paige gets kind of convinced to still do the demon murdering thing. Phoebe's like, I have to go turn in my last column because in a world without conflict, no one's gonna need an advice columnist.
Yeah, that's you were really holding the line there, Phoebe. Huh. We also find out that the avatars, it's okay. The avatars aren't going to make the Charmed Ones go to sleep, or at least not right away, because first they need to kill all of the straggler demons.
Yeah, the Charmed Ones have been going into the underworld to kill all of the demons in the underworld, which this has to be a really good time to buy real estate in the underworld, right? Like, just so many empty properties. But yeah, there are also demons walking among us, so they're going to have to kill all of the demons on Earth in the, 2-hour period where everyone's going to be asleep.
Okay, this part makes no sense, because, first of all, they don't, it doesn't seem like they plan to leave San Francisco, and presumably demons are all over the world.
Yes.
And then, when they get, tired halfway through, they're like, oh, whatever, we're just going to go home, it'll be fine. What? Do you have to kill the straggler demons or not?
Yeah, this is my big thing. Like, if this was going to wipe out every, or if it worked on the demons, if it set the demons that were on Earth back to neutral.
Yeah.
But having them have to kill every demon, and are there not supposed to be a lot of demons on Earth? Because it feels like a lot of demons operate on Earth.
I don't think that they had to kill straggler demons. I think they were just keeping the Charmed Ones distracted.
Mm. So, in the underworlds, Zanku, it feels unnecessary. He transforms himself into one of those fast blade
celerity
guys,
demons.
One of the celerity demons, and he brings in 2 celerity demons, and Brody's like, those are the celerity demons that killed my parents. And then Zanku shapeshifts back into himself and blows them up, and he's like, there you go. I got you some revenge, so now you have to work for me.
Honestly, it's insulting how quickly he vanquishes them. He's like, hey, you've spent your whole life trying to find and kill these guys, and I did it as an afterthought. Just as my first move to show good faith to you.
Why did you bother shapeshifting into a celerity demon? Aren't you supposed to be a big
Yeah,
deal?
I feel like you could have just been Zanku and been like, hey, come back to my lair, I need to show you something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Meanwhile, back at the newspaper, Phoebe is having some sort of manic episode.
Yeah, she has turned in her final column, and Elise shows up and is like, wait, your final column is called The Grass is Greener? Are you quitting?
Well, she didn't turn in her final column. She turned on a column which Elise identifies as, this is clearly a final column. Is there something you want to tell me?
And then Phoebe is like, Elise, remember when you left your terrible husband and how much happier you were? It's like that. And I'm like, what the fuck, Phoebe? You're telling Elise that her paper is like her terrible ex and that's why you need to get out? But Phoebe's just like, I can't tell you what's happening, but everything's gonna be great. And seriously, if I was Elise, I would think that either Phoebe was pregnant, and so she was getting ready to quit because she was pregnant, and didn't want to tell us yet because, for various reasons, very reasonable reasons.
Yeah.
Or that she was going to kill herself tonight.
Yeah, it does kind of have strong, things people do before they commit suicide energy.
Yeah.
This whole, suddenly she's really positive, and she's giving all of her stuff to people, and it's...
Yeah, she's hugging everyone. She's like, bye. I'll see you tomorrow, but goodbye, and thank you for everything. And then she goes out into the bullpen with all of the writers without lines and is like, hey, I love you all, even though I'm hardly ever here because I think I'm above this job.
Donald, you're the man. Heidi, you're my best friend at work. Greg with 3 G's. Fuck you, but I'm gonna like you tomorrow.
Although, remember that. Remember Greg, who never liked Phoebe, who she never liked.
No.
Remember that for next week.
Also, one of Phoebe's boxes in her filing system in her office is forget about.
Okay. That's pretty great, actually. See, I love this episode.
So, I really like Piper's shirt in the next scene, but I'm unclear on why she's chosen to pair it with a blazer.
A jean blazer.
A jean blazer. It's a nice shirt. I'm not sure about the accessory here.
Well, and then she's got a scarf as a hair tie. It's a lot of look, as Tim Gunn would say.
Yeah, normally Piper dresses the most normal out of the sisters. This is a little fashion experimentation here. Paige looks good in the distressed jeans and
teeny tiny tank top.
Yeah, it's kind of honestly, it looks like something I knew a couple girls in high school who repurposed 90s as tops. And it looks kind of like that.
It was big in the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, honestly, Rose McGowan looks very 90s, early 2000s right now. And
especially because she keeps standing with her thumb stuck in her jeans pockets.
That's how girls stood then.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I associate with Billy later because she stands like that so much. It's honestly kind of distracting. But
it's how hot girls stood. And also, you saying that she looks good in that outfit. I mean, she is Rose McGowan.
Yes. I mean, she's looked stupid in stuff they put her in before. Though.
That's fair. That's fair. I did notice that in this episode she looks particularly lovely.
Yes.
Well, and also, she looks good in red.
Yeah, I mean, it goes well with really pale skin, dark hair.
She's basically Snow freaking White over here.
Yeah. Which
is funny because in Once Upon a Time, she's the evil stepmother's mother.
Yes. And I mean, they cast her as Snow White in the fairy tale episode. But
oh yeah, which makes sense.
Paige is still being a doubting Thomas, and boy, they are not trying to hide the sisters' tattoos at all anymore.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's true. Every time I watch Charmed and I see their tattoos that are under the tiniest film of makeup, but you can still see them clearly, I wonder if that's an HD issue.
I don't know. We see Rose McGowan's back tattoo, and it's just kind of there. I think maybe they thought it would be under her hair or something, but...
I just always wonder how it looked on a TV in 2002,
Yeah. But, yeah, their little conversations, Paige is still doubting, and Piper's like, well, we're committed now, so...
And besides, I know how to find Zanku, so that's what we're gonna do.
Piper does also, not to completely poo-poo her argument, Piper does point out, she's like, look, I'm kind of tired of waiting for the one demon who gets lucky and kills me, or one of my children. If I could not have to worry about being murdered or watching one of my 2 infant children die, that would be great. And Paige is like, yeah, okay.
It's a strong argument. Paige has no answer for that.
Yeah. She could point out why it's functionally immortal. You just really have to worry about Chris.
Oh.
And have we seen Chris this season, really?
He's at magic school! Down in the underworld, Zanku is showing Kyle this crystal that he needs to use to make the sisters paranoid. When he touches it to the sisters, it will make them become super paranoid.
He says, he's like, this crystal, by making one witch paranoid, managed to destroy an empire. And I'm like, what are you talking? It feels like
it sounds like a reference, but yeah, what to what?
Yeah, I'm like, is it a Pandora thing? I'm trying to think of, or maybe Helen of Troy.
No, you know what? I should have looked up more about Cleopatra and Mark Antony.
Because
one thing I'm going to talk about later on is the Egyptian mythology in this episode. So, but we'll get to that later. Maybe I'll look it up during the commercial break.
Yes. So, yeah. It's a magic crystal. Kyle needs to touch one of the witches, and it will make them paranoid, but it won't work on him because he's not a witch.
Yeah, it just spreads to witches, which is a very specific crystal for him to have.
Yeah.
And Kyle wants to know how to reverse it, and Zanku's like, I'll ttell you that later. And
you can ask the back of my hand.
He throws him against the wall to give him an alibi because the sisters have orbed in, and they are blasting all of the demons. They miss Zanku because they were so fucking loud when they came in that he had plenty of time to get away.
Yeah, they talked earlier about the reason they've been having trouble finding Zanku is because he's got prescience.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, they're like, look, he doesn't have full-on, like, visions, premonitions, or whatever, but he's got enough psychic power to know when we're coming so that he can leave. Which, I mean, that is sort of what we've seen with him so far. He's been able to sense stuff that's happening, like when the sisters will be vulnerable, etc. So, I don't want to be like he's also a better precog than Phoebe, but...
But, anyway, the sisters come in, They
see Kyle laying crumpled on the floor.
They see him lying crumpled on the floor, and Piper says, "What the hell are you doing here?" Piper's not buying it for 1 hot second, and I love her for that.
I mean, fair, right? Piper is very voice of reason-y this episode.
Yes.
Like, we've been taking shots at her, you know, just being like, okay, let's just get this over with. But, yeah, you know what? Let's just get this over with. So, back at the manor, Leo tries to heal up Brody, but he can't because Brody's resisting.
Which is so weird. Why are you resisting being healed? Well, I guess because he doesn't trust Leo. Okay, never mind. He doesn't trust Leo.
I mean, Leo's being pretty cool considering the multiple murder attempts.
Yeah, but Leo has also multiply murdered.
Brody?
No, elders. Like, he gets that you can murder people and still be a decent, good guy.
Well, he does successfully heal him after Paige is like, Brody, please stop being a huge dick about this.
I tried to think about what this means as far as whether Brody is evil or Zanku is evil or good, but then I was like, wait, Leo's an avatar now, so now presumably he can heal anyone, even if they weren't injured by evil. But also, Leo's healing has never followed any rules anyway, so then I told myself to stop thinking too much about it.
Leo does successfully heal him, and Paige is like, "What?" The main question is, why did Zanku kidnap you? And Kyle's like, because he thought I still had that Avatar vanquishing potion. And Paige is like, oh, but you don't, right? And he's like, of course I don't. When would I have got a second vanquishing potion? Sometime during the whole time travel thing?
Kyle is trying to explain to Paige that he is still not sure about this whole thing, and Paige, showing that she has never read a book in her life, says, how bad could a place called Utopia be?
Jesus Christ, Paige. Jesus Christ.
Kyle getting hurt is what has pushed the sisters to enact Utopia, because Paige is like, oh no, everybody's getting hurt, we have to keep fighting demons, let's just do it now. Call the avatars, let's just do it now and get it done with. And Kyle's like, you can't remake the whole world just so that I don't get killed by a demon. And Paige is like, fuck you, watch me.
He's technically correct here.
Right? Right?
Also, God, Kyle rolled like a series of ones to get to the... Yeah. He's trying to convince her not to remake the world, and in doing so convinces her to remake the world.
Right.
Also, I know we mentioned it earlier, not to reiterate a point, but the elders are so bad at picking up on getting messages from people.
I think it's just that they don't care.
Yeah.
And look, I was making fun of the elders too, but in fairness, Zanku is literally just standing on the proverbial next door window peering through the curtains watching them 24/7. So of course he picked up Kyle's message.
Okay, I might edit an image of Zanku with the sickos.
Yes! Oh, yeah, do that. Kyle touches Paige with the paranoia crystal.
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ, Kyle.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know when is the right time to do this. I'm just gonna do it now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to unpack how weird Zanku's plan is here. Because you said, Kyle must have rolled a bunch of ones to get in a position where now him trying to stop them creating utopia is causing utopia. But also, Zanku's plan at this point of stopping the avatars kind of means that he has to let them get started on it. His whole idea of getting the sisters paranoid enough to call an avatar, get them alone so that Kyle can vanquish them. For it to work, they have to start the spell. Like, ooh, that seems risky, Zanku.
Well, he's got that prescience thing, so...
Yeah, and I guess the results speak for themselves, but still, it makes me nervous.
Because, spoiler alert, there's one season after this, so you can pretty much guess how the whole Utopia thing's gonna go down.
Wouldn't it be funny if this was Utopia, and then from, this point on, the whole back half of this season and next season was just like a sitcom?
Yeah.
Just 3 former witches raising their kids. That. Oh, I think we were going to say the same thing.
Oh, what?
Like that spinoff they tried to do of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh my god. Which one? The one where her cousin's mom was marrying that mortal guy?
And she gave up her witch powers to marry a mortal.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Despite both of her daughters still having witch powers. And also, the guy had 2 kids. They kept trying to give Melissa Joan Hart's younger sister a spinoff. They tried 3 times. There was that, the Brady Bunch thing, and then she went to that witch school with Mr. Sheffield that was run by Mr. Sheffield from The Nanny, and his personal assistant was Ross's lesbian ex-wife from Friends.
Uh-huh.
I feel like they tried one more time before they're like, okay, we're not going to make Melissa Joan Hart's sister happen.
Well, I think they just kind of wanted to do her as an evil child when they first introduced her, because remember she did the whole thing with the turning everyone into toys.
That was the second thing. When she was first introduced, she trapped people in jars.
Oh, okay. You know what's funny? It feels kind of insulting, the TV show they finally did get her.
The animated one where she was voicing Sabrina.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's that thing, that video you showed me about Melissa Joan Hart, where it's if you look at the credits for anything she's been in, her mom is almost always a producer, and you're like, oh, was she not actually famous? Was she just astroturfed into being a thing? But I guess
Clarissa Explains It All is foundational for women my age, so it doesn't seem fair to say that she had nothing going for her.
Yeah.
She explained it all to us.
Yeah, and she did a good enough job in Sabrina and the other stuff I've seen her, and I don't think she's a bad actress or anything. It's just weird that every single thing she's been in was produced by her mom.
Okay, well, so there's a reason that Jack Quaid is the best Nepo baby, and that is because when asked about being a Nepo baby, he was like, yes, I work very hard, but doors were open to me that would not have been if I wasn't a Nepo baby. I had opportunities, other people don't, but I worked hard to be ready to take those opportunities. Jack Quaid, of course, being the son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis had a thing about that, too, in an interview when someone was, when Nepo Baby was the thing people were discussing. She's like, yeah, look, when I was up for Halloween, it ended up being between me and another girl. And if my mom wasn't who my mom was, I probably wouldn't have gotten the role. And I like to think that I did a good job, but it would be irrational to just disregard the fact that I got this role because of who my mom is.
Jamie Lee Curtis's mom is Janet Leigh, most famous for playing Marion Crane in Psycho. Just for our listeners who did not know who her mother was.
Yeah.
And that Jamie Lee Curtis is, in fact, a Nepo baby.
I like to think that the Marion Crane from Psycho is Frasier and Niles' mom.
I think... Okay.
You have to fudge a couple of things, but it could totally work. Their mom's dead, we know that.
She's not dead in Cheers, though.
Hmm.
She shows up in Cheers to be mean to Shelley Long.
Oh. Well, sitcoms had more of a looser continuity style back then.
I guess. Hey, what were we talking about?
We were talking about Charmed. So Kyle, having successfully paranoia crystalled Paige, goes back to his apartment.
And Zanku is there waiting for him. He does this thing. He does like a jump scare where Kyle opens the fridge to get a drink, and when he closes it, Zanku's standing behind him. Like, it's honestly a funny jump scare, but also, Kyle, be on the lookout for Zanku. You, as he says later in this episode, essentially made a deal with the devil. Like, some situational awareness would be a good idea at this point.
So Kyle's like, so now that I've fulfilled my end of the bargain, how do I reverse the paranoia thing? And Zenku's like, I really don't have to tell you stuff, right? Like, I'm not under there's no reason for me to tell you anything.
Yeah, I'm a demon, not a fairy. I don't have to honor my deals.
Yeah.
But, of course, Kyle has not yet given him the potion and will not do so until he finds out how to reverse the spell. I think I'm on record as not liking Kyle. Has that been made clear in our podcast?
I think that's been made very clear.
But I really like the way he is single-mindedly focused in this episode on making sure that Paige is safe. He will not back down from what we are told is one of the most powerful demons ever until he is shown how to make Paige safe. And even though the paranoia thing, not great, but again, he's just trying to keep them from remaking the world into a massive dystopia, Paige.
I know we already referenced this, but they're in kind of a stalemate, and Kyle's like, look, you're not going to get the potion until you tell me how to reverse it, so just tell me how to reverse it. And Zenku's like, okay. As soon as it's infected the other sisters and my plan has reached the point of no return for them, then I'll tell you. I'm just doing the Yoko factor thing from Buffy. Also, I do want to appreciate, unlike in
pop culture.
Well, I was gonna say, Spike acknowledges when Adam hires him to make the Scoobies fall apart. Spike acknowledges, like, he uses Yoko as an analogy, and he's like, the thing is, people blame Yoko Ono for the Beatles breaking up, but it wasn't her fault. She's a convenient scapegoat, but they all had interpersonal issues, and that's what caused the band to break up. But no, I'm just going to poke at those interpersonal issues, which I feel like you didn't need the paranoia crystal here. Like, it took 3 episodes of convincing for everyone to get on board with this, and even with everyone on board with this,
Paige is already bringing up questions before you use the crystal, just from you saying, hey, how come you didn't ask them what the spell entails? Yeah, you could have done this whole thing without the crystal, it's true. And I doubt we have any listeners who are listeners of ours who have not watched Lindsay Ellis's Yoko Ono video, but if we do, go watch it, it's really good. So, they're at magic school, getting ready to cast the spell, and Paige's paranoia / anxiety has manifested itself as her obsessively reorganizing the bookshelf, and I don't know how much harder I can relate to a fictional character. I also feel the need to organize my bookshelves when I'm feeling stressed.
She's going to get rid of all of the books that have demons in them because post-Utopia they won't need demons. And then she's like, but wait, if the demons come back, then we'll need these books. So I guess I need to unthrow out all these books.
I don't think she was throwing them out. I think she was just like getting ready to put them in storage because they won't need them. And they need the space for all those Utopia books.
Okay, it's a little thing, but Piper has her hair done in a ponytail, but instead of like an elastic thing, she has it tied up with like a scarf.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I know we talked about a lot of different things with her outfit. It feels like she's trying a lot of stuff here. I really like the scarf as a way of tying up your hair thing, a silk scarf.
Yeah.
But Paige touches Paige, and she gets the paranoia thing. Paranoia is all over the place. Phoebe's here. She's paranoid.
Yeah, she feels Paige's forehead to see if she has a fever, and that's when she gets the paranoia. So now they're all super paranoid, but they're still willing to do the spell. And the avatars are picking up on the weird mood shift in the room, and they're like, what's happening?
Leo's like, it's cold feet, it's fine. And
to be fair, Leo has seen so many shifts in these sisters, it makes sense for him to be like, just go with it, whatever.
And the avatars, they're younger man avatars kind of taking the role of responsible avatar, since the woman of color avatar needs to be somewhere else for this episode.
Well, she just needs to be somewhere else for this scene so that she can shimmer in and they can all jump and be like, oh no, we're so scared, we're so paranoid.
Yeah.
Which she does,
But the young guy's being the reasonable avatar here, where he's like, look, you're all going to have your powers after the big change. Like, you're, because they're worried, they're like, well, we're going to be helpless, blah, blah, blah. And, no. I like how none of the, 3 avatars showed up for this. We know there are more than these avatars, but the female avatar brings in the Xena's throwing thing.
She calls it a cartouche.
Mm-hmm.
Which I only mention because, as I was saying earlier this episode, I think it's interesting how the avatars are really tied to this Egyptology thing without making it explicit.
It is, yeah. So,
but before they activate Utopia, though, Piper's like, oh wait, what about Zanku? Wasn't it like a whole big deal that we kill him before we do this? And the other avatars are like, whatever, it's fine.
It's fine.
They just drop it! They just dropped it!
You're gonna get some demons, which kind of goes against the whole, but whatever. Everyone touches the circular metal thing.
The cartouche.
The cartouche, and by everyone, I mean 3 avatars and the charmed ones. It really feels like
maybe... but the avatars all channel each other's powers, so honestly, they only needed one avatar, because one avatar has the powers of all avatars.
So the beam of resetting everyone back to moral neutrality shoots across the world,
or at least through San Francisco.
No, we see different cities across the world from various eras, because the film quality shifts radically between the different stock footage they got. It's like the Big Ben thing looks like it's from like the 70s.
You're right. It goes through Times Square, it goes through Big Ben, it goes over the Taj Mahal. Yeah, okay. It does do that kind of stereotypical disaster movie thing where all of the big landmarks get hit by the wave. All right. Yes, I take it back. I guess I just wasn't paying attention to the stock footage too much, because my brain is just used to turning off whenever we get a bunch of stock footage on Charmed.
So we see a bunch of people in San Francisco, the only place that matters, gently putting all of their stuff down before laying down in the street or at cafes or wherever they are.
Here's the thing.
A bunch of people really should die from this.
Well, they make the point that everybody slowly succumbs to it so that they're able to stop what they're doing and not cause car accidents and whatever. But as a result, it looks ridiculous and fake. Because everybody just, slowly lowers themselves to the ground, like that actor in the high school production who's unwilling to commit to falling down.
Yeah. You can see one of the extras very gingerly placing a coffee cup next to him as he lays down on the sidewalk.
But, I mean, that's what we're supposed to think they did. And, okay... We go to commercial, and when we come back, they're walking through San Francisco watching everyone be asleep, and Piper and Phoebe are like, hey, wait, what about all of the cars? People didn't have car accidents or plane crashes? And I'm like, you're thinking about this now? Now is when you're thinking about this?
They bring up because the Avatar's like, there was time for everyone to, gently stop before they fell asleep, and Phoebe brings up, what about people who are flying helicopters and airplanes? And the Avatar's like, do you see any crashed helicopters or airplanes? Which, that doesn't answer why that would...
That doesn't really make a lot of sense, because you can't instantly land a plane.
Yeah. but they're just going to wander through the world and use psychic sensing powers to figure out who's a demon and who's not.
I don't think they're using psychic sensing powers. I think they're using just their eyes. You know, do you remember playing the game in like elementary school where everyone I guess it's freeze tag, right? Where everyone freezes and you try to catch someone moving?
You mean Ghost in the Graveyard?
Ooh, I never heard it called that.
Because freeze tag is when you have to freeze when someone touches you when you're...
Oh, yeah. No, I think actually we called it, like, statues.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so everybody has to freeze. They're basically just staring at all of these asleep people trying to see one of them flinch.
Okay, but 2 hours to eliminate every demon on Earth, and you're doing it by looking at people and trying to figure out who's just pretending to be asleep. This is such a This shouldn't work. And I guess, to be fair, it doesn't really, because Utopia lasts about 12 hours.
But also, demons aren't the reason Utopia stops working. And, like, they give up halfway through. Okay, Paige goes up and she's like, you know, this guy is a demon.
She's nudging him with her foot. Like...
Alright. She like, is like, wake up, stop faking. And he doesn't move. So she's like, okay. And then she turns to walk away, and then he sits up and tries to fireball her. And my God, man, you should have just kept playing asleep and you would have been fine. That's the other thing. They're not frozen. They're asleep. Lots of people move in their sleep.
Yeah, like...
This is definitely a don't think about it too hard moment.
Yeah.
Leo is like, wait, we have to cover the whole world in 2 hours? We better split up.
Into 2 groups. Leo's gonna take Phoebe, and Paige is gonna take Piper, which I guess makes sense, sort of. I mean, we're assuming none of the demons will need the power of 3 that are on Earth.
I mean, I was thinking you want to have an Orbiter in each group, so as long as Paige and Leo aren't together, it makes sense. And then they split it with Phoebe so that Piper could say, wait, why didn't Leo want to be with me? So we can see that the paranoia juice is working.
That's because you've got a finisher and Phoebe doesn't. And Paige theoretically doesn't, although she's got a few things. If she used the, like, orbing someone's heart out of their body, or that thing she did that one time where she orbed into Leo and made him blow up from the inside out, like...
Or she can just wait till they throw a fireball at her and orb it back to them. That's her main move, it seems.
So... if demons just did nothing, they would survive this, then. I mean, I know it's a thing in this show.
Well, demons are incapable of being chill, but yeah, if the demons just went up to Earth and were chill, they would be fine.
Meanwhile, in Hell, Zenku has brought Kyle there to wait out the, wave of moral neutrality.
And specifically, he wants Kyle to stay awake, because his plan involves Kyle staying awake, going back to his apartment, and then telling Paige that Beta, the female avatar, is the one who made him stay awake. And then she'll call Beta and demand an explanation because she's
Female
so
jealousy.
jealous. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like this reliance on sexual jealousy here. But anyway, then she'll demand that Beta show up, and then he can vanquish Beta. That's the plan.
We've been planning this for millennia, but one of the female avatars saw, Kyle and was like, ooh, this is worth throwing into jeopardy just so I could get laid with someone else's boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
So, Zenku bamps Kyle back to his apartment. He really didn't need to, I guess he needed to be in the underworld to skip the wave.
Yes, he did. And he had one of his guys positioned in such a way that, like, he wasn't in the zone of protection or whatever Zenku had. And when that guy exploded, Zenku's like, all right, the wave has happened. We can all come out of this zone of protection now. And because we were talking about him just sacrificing people left and right over here.
Dude, you do not have that many demons left.
And there's another sacrifice still coming up.
No. So he brings Kyle back to the apartment. He's like, well, since things have gone too far to be stopped now, the way that you stop the spell is by breaking the crystal. You want to give me that avatar potion? Kyle's like, I'm going to see if it works first.
Kyle looks over at a snow globe that he has that we have not seen before, but it's given, like, a lot of weight in this episode. I'm right? We haven't seen that snow globe before.
I think it might have been in the last episode with his parents when they died. I think maybe it was there. I'm not 100% sure.
But the point is, it's a twin... The point that I'm going to come to later is that it's a Twin Towers snow globe. And, of course, this episode is happening in 2002.
Post 9/11 world, yeah.
Immediately post 9/11.
Again, we've hit the point where there aren't all the flag pins and flags everywhere. Like we're just pulling out of that a little bit,
which I think is important for stuff I'm going to talk about later.
Yeah.
I don't think that the snow globe was placed there accidentally. I mean, obviously it wasn't, but I think that the image of the Twin Towers is relevant to this episode.
So they find a couple of demons. Phoebe and Leo find a couple of demons, but they escape. Which there's it's a little distracting. There's a poster for a movie called Unplugged behind them, which I don't remember existing, but...
Oh, I thought that was an ad for MTV's Unplugged. Do you remember MTV's Unplugged?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, did they pay for that, or was that just here? Because it's framed so you see it a lot, but it might just have been the location they're at, and it's one of those things you have to think about, and, post-capitalism,
Yeah. Well,
when you get... This entire show later is basically paid for by shots of cars pulling up and people getting out of them.
I mean, lots of modern shows are, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. Like... If you ever wonder why a show has a, 2-minute establishing bit of someone driving up in a car and then getting out of the car, it's because that's an ad and they paid for that.
There's a scene in Bones where she uses the, park assist, and they talk about how great the park assist is for, 60 seconds.
Hey, I like Ghosts US. I like the United States version of Ghosts.
Oh, Jesus, do they love Amazon Prime.
Yeah. The show, about 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of every episode is them just talking about how great Amazon Prime is.
They also did that on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but at least I appreciate that on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend they were super excited that, the sexy time handcuffs came overnight.
So, Piper and Paige are in a warehouse looking for demons. It really feels like they've stayed in San Francisco for this.
That's what I'm saying!
I do like the guy sitting next to the dumpster casually chilling with his arm on the garbage bag I guess he was taking out. There are a lot of people in this alley.
It's one of the sets they have.
It is one of the sets they have.
Beta, in quotation marks, shimmers in, or transports in, however avatars teleport. She comes in, and
Piper instinctively blasts her, and I love how hard Beta's trying not to look pissed.
She's like, it's fine, everything's fine, but she says that Kyle is still awake, that Zanku has kept Kyle awake, and Paige needs to go deal with that.
Yeah, Kyle was protected by Zanku for some reason, and Paige rolls her eyes, and it's like, it's because he thinks Zanku thinks he still has the fucking potion.
Paige orbs off, but Piper's still talking to Beta, and then Beta's like, look, a demon! And Piper takes off after this random demon, which is the second Zanku sacrifice to draw Piper away.
The demon also kind of looks like Chris, which is a little funny. I mean...
I feel like that demon in particular did not need to be sacrificed, because as soon as Piper runs away, Beta shifts and we see, oh no, it was Zanku in disguise. But, I mean, couldn't Zanku as Beta just been like, alright, back to work, all of us, and then shimmered away?
Yeah, there's no reason for Beta to keep hanging out with Piper after delivering that information.
Like, because Zanku has never heard of an Irish goodbye, we have to kill yet another demon.
So Paige orbs to Kyle's apartment, and she's like, Kyle, where are you, Kyle? And Kyle is there because it's his apartment.
And she's like, why are you awake? And she's worried that Zanku has gotten to him, because remember, the thing that pushed her into doing this whole thing was wanting to protect Kyle from Zanku. And he says, no, it wasn't Zanku, it was Beta. maybe you should call Beta. And then he does this thing where he, like, has to clear his throat because, okay, the whole, like, body language expert stuff is a hoax. It's not real. That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But these are fictional characters who are doing the fictional things they've been directed to do, and Kyle does clear his throat as though he cannot even, like, bear to get the lies out to her, even though he's been lying to her for, like, all the time.
Yes, he tells her that it's the Avatars, specifically Beta, who kept him awake because something nefariousness and or she wants him. And Paige is like, Beta, get your Avatar ass down here right now. Which she does, for whatever reason. You know, Beta, you don't work for her, right? Like,
yeah, I know. Kyle, before he vanquishes Beta, smashes the crystal. Because he tells Paige, no matter how this works out, I want to make sure you're okay. So he smashes the crystal, makes sure Paige is okay, and then throws the potion to vanquish Beta, who is able to get off a lightning bolt and kill Leo before she herself is vanquished. Kyle! Whatever, they're all the same.
They're all men. Who cares? Interchangeable.
Look at it. They're all interchangeable.
So, Kyle's dying from lightning, and Paige steps over Beta's corpse, and she's cradling Kyle. She's paid opposing him. She's like, Kyle, no, don't die. And he's like, please, don't hate me. And she's like, I could never hate you. And he's like, the Avatars. Zenku will kill them all. And Paige is like, then why didn't you just tell us what was going on? And he's like, Dad.
He told her so many times!
I mean, he didn't tell her about the whole working for Zenku thing.
Oh yeah, but he told her not to trust the Avatars so many times.
I still don't get why he's on team no Avatars here. Like,
because he's been researching them, and he has seen that for thousands of years, people were like, you know what? Avatars are bad news bears. And so, I mean, I'm on Kyle's side with this. And for me to say that I am on Kyle's side, understand how strong his position has to be.
I don't know. I feel like people have historically not made good decisions for thousands of years. And
that doesn't mean you get to take away their free will. I know, as much as we want to. It does not. It does not.
Does it not?
Oh.
So, the other Avatars blurp in because they could sense the collective being weakened by the death of Avatar Beta. And Paige is like, rewind time. You did it before. You can save him. And they're like, yeah, we did it before, back when we had the full fucking collective.
And remember, not only have they lost someone, they also cast the spell that they were saving up all their power for. So they're probably, in debt power-wise right now. Paige yells at them and says, I didn't go along with this experiment of yours so you could play God.
That was the whole fucking point of the
You absolutely did, Paige. You absolutely did. Oh. And then the main Avatar tries to be like, I'm sorry that he died, but the good of the many outweighs the needs of the one or the few.
Also, yeah, he slaughters that Star Trek quote. He slaughters it. Where they're like, he kind of pulls the guy to the side, the other Avatar to the side. He's like, so do you want to just do it now? Do you want to just knock the sisters out now? And the other guy's like, yeah, I really don't want to have this conversation with Paige.
Yeah, Paige is crying and it's making me uncomfortable, so fuck it. Let's just make all the sisters go to sleep and we'll let the demons run wild, I guess.
So after 45 minutes of the sisters demon hunting in one city, they're good enough. The sisters all fall asleep to get their hard reset. Leo's blurping around. He's like, no!
Well, because Leo is with Phoebe when she passes out. And, I mean, to be fair, they are at the manor at that point. But he just orbs away from her to find Piper. He's like, fuck that. Oh, but yes, he finds Piper, and the other Avatars are like, it's fine, she's just asleep. It's the whole fucking plan.
Yeah, Leo's like, you didn't have to do this. Do what they were planning on doing, but slightly earlier. But they're like, look, Beta's dead. Kyle was working with Zenku. We need to get this done now. I like that guy sitting back there, and there's a woman. She's lying on his lap. I kind of want to pause and just look at all of the extras and how they've chosen to fall asleep, because I feel like you could get a lot of storytelling out of just that.
Yes. Much like the way that I want to do stories that are just people living after the snap in the Marvel universe.
Which would have been such a good story engine, but meh. So Leo's like, why did you do this? And they explain the whole, Kyle situation, and he's like, you could have still waited for the sisters. And they're like, yeah, Paige was being really, really irritating, and we figured it would be better just to cut that off at the head.
She was crying, and we couldn't take it. We're avatars. We would rather cast a spell that makes all witches in the world fall asleep than go to therapy.
I mean, you don't become a free will eliminating source of neutrality because you're comfortable with people crying around you.
Right? Oh. And they tell Leo that, now that she's getting her factory reset, she'll be happy when she wakes up. And Leo's like, you just killed her boyfriend. What do you mean she's going to be happy? And the Avatar says she will be, don't worry.
Her boyfriend sucked. But also, there's no grief in the new world.
It will not be tolerated.
Which...
That's not ominous at all.
It's not the language you want to use.
Also, I feel like Leo should have definitely asked the avatars more questions before becoming an avatar. Because immediately after the spell goes into effect, he's like, wait, are we the baddies?
No, you're the neutral ease. So, everyone wakes up, and apparently being in a neutral world means everyone has customer service voice on all the time. Because everyone's like, hey, how's it going? How can I help you today? It's all very customer service voicey.
Yeah, but I just saw it as everyone had the effects of their trauma erased. Like, everyone remembers trauma, but all of that... Basically, the avatars made the body stop keeping the score. So everybody wakes up just feeling good despite whatever is going on in their life. So nobody's upset about cars getting rear-ended or coffee being spilled on them. Essentially, they all just calmed down. Which, is my advice for everyone all the time. Just calm down.
Advice that is good to take, but never good to give.
Nope.
It kind of reminds me of, do you remember that Paul Rudd Netflix show where people got refreshed?
Yeah!
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, except without the whole cloning and murdering thing.
Well, and here's the thing. This is why this world is bad. Not just because what we see of the well, no, actually, yes, because of how we see how the avatars create it. The avatars removed all feeling around trauma, but they didn't remove the trauma. Like, if a person is living in poverty and they don't have a secure place to sleep or secure food, that causes distress. Instead of providing food and shelter, the avatars just took away the feeling of distress. And so I think there's like a good argument for the neutral world the avatars wanted, but, putting in the work.
There's a bit in the Angel and Faith comics where Angel and Faith are fighting Drusilla, who's sane now because she found a demon whose whole thing is basically feeding on trauma. It drains the trauma out of you, and you have the memories, but you don't have any emotions associated with them. And they end up killing the demon because you need to have all of the parts of you. But it's one of those things where I'm like, you don't really, though. I mean, I'm just saying, if people are willingly going to this demon to get their trauma drunk or whatever, maybe you should just let that one go, guys.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's consensual, right? Like, that would... I just made this whole thing about how if you really want a good world, you need to take away the source of the trauma. But that doesn't mean, like, I'm not going to take my anti-anxiety pills. Like, I'm still going to take my antidepressants. It's not... That doesn't make me not me.
Yeah. So Zanku is in the underworld, and he's like, well, the change happened, and his main minion guy is like, so we're screwed? And Zanku's like, no, you lose one thing doesn't mean everything's over forever.
I planted a seed. He planted the seeds for destruction of this world. And this is one of the smartest demon moves we've seen, where he just got the sisters and Leo to doubt what's happening and then sat back and waited for them to dismantle it. He doesn't go up and interfere. He doesn't do any of this. He's just like...
Well, he knows the Charmed Ones are the Charmed Ones' worst enemies.
Exactly.
So Back at the manor, Leo is checking with Piper to make sure she's okay, and she's like, hey, it's not like at the end of last season when you cast that, was it last season? No, it was like two seasons ago.
Yeah.
When you left me to become an elder and you cast that spell to make me not have emotions. This isn't like that. I remember everything and I have emotions. I'm just at a nice baseline. Like, I'm content.
Yeah.
Like, everything's fine. I still have emotions. I can still feel things. I'm not artificially chipper or anything. It's just everything feels right for the first time in a really long time.
And we see this as they arrive back at the manor with Paige, who is sad about Brody dying, but she's accepting of it. She's like, yeah, it's sad, but he's in a better place.
Yeah, we know the afterlife exists, and he was a good enough guy to get into heaven, right? I'm going to go upstairs and take a little nap, but, I'm sad, but I am reasonably sad given the circumstances, and, less sad than I would have been otherwise, so...
Yeah. So the sisters are all doing good, and Leo's like, oh no, this is very bad! Which, that's fair, right? Like,
yeah, you should be sadder if your boyfriend was just...
murdered by a god in front of you.
I was going to say murdered, but it wouldn't be murder, right? It was self-defense.
Oh, I thought you were gonna argue that gods don't commit murder. They, do some other kind of slaughter.
Also probably that.
We don't murder cows.
Brody died in an act of God. Insurance is not covering it.
Exactly. Force majeure, man. Force majeure. So that's it for this episode. As we talked about, we get that to be continued for one of the only times mid-season.
Didn't need to be a two-parter.
Yeah, I agree.
But yes, this is the first and possibly only mid-season two-parter.
I think it is, yeah. So, should we do our segments?
Yes, much like the Charmed ones, we have our own power of three. The first power in our pack is Premonition, who in this episode is, was, or will become famous. I didn't have anything.
Okay, so there weren't really any new characters introduced this episode. There was no one on the acting side who is, was, or will become famous, but as I hinted at the beginning, of course, this episode was directed by LeVar Burton.
Yes.
And I feel like I don't know if this is just confirmation bias where I'm expecting to see lots of good stuff and so I am seeing it or not, but I feel like this was a really well-directed episode.
Yeah, I could see that. The second power in our pack is Time Freeze, what specifically dated this episode Unplugged, a poster for the MTV show Unplugged.
For me, it's the Twin Tower Snow Globe.
Oh, yes, also that. Because I feel like that iconography these days would not immediately read the same way it read freshly post 9/11.
Yeah. And I feel like there is, especially next week, we're going to talk about it. I feel like there is some post 9/11 symbolism happening in these episodes. So I think that snow globe is there to call it out. So it's very much a time freeze. It's very much that moment in time.
And the last power in our pack is Telekinesis. What, if anything, genuinely moved you? Nothing. Nothing. Did you have something?
Of course. Look, I hate him, but if Rose McGowan's sad, I'm sad. When she was mourning Brody, I felt it. I felt her trauma at what had come to pass.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, boy, she's getting his hair gel all over her arms.
Oh my God, you're so cold. You're so cold.
It's Kyle.
All right. Next time we're going to talk about the second part of this two-parter, which is not called...
If this utopia kept going, would anyone have brought Inspector Sheridan out of her coma?
Nope.
Sorry. Go on.
Next time we're going to talk about the second part of this two-parter, which is not called Extreme Makeover: World Edition Part 2. It is called Charmageddon.
That feels weird. You shouldn't have two different titles for a two-parter.
But agreed.
Yeah. Next episode, more of this.
So I think that about does it for this week.
Yeah, I think that'll about do it.
Our show is partially listener-supported. If you want to be one of those supporters, head over to our website, www.welcometotelevision.net, and click on our Patreon link. I'd like to thank our current $5 and above patrons, Beryl, Patricia, Rosa, Alex, Becca, Carolyn, Cassidy, Daniel, Alicia, Hoops, Javier, Jen, Maricruz, Randall, and Twinflower.
If you'd like to support the show in other ways, you could always rate and review us on Apple Podcast. It helps other people find the show.
If you want to talk about this episode or any episode of any television show, you can email us at ilovetelevisionzines@gmail.com or find us on Welcome to TV on Blue Sky.
So until next time, I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And this has been Welcome to Halliwell Manor.